Hey guys, if you're anything like me, the reality in which you inhabit is different than the one that you may see us all externally residing on. You know, there's motions that are being upheld by myself and other people on this planet, but deep down we're thinking differently. We're engineering our minds to adapt and to be simultaneous and to accept that what we're enduring externally versus what we're feeling internally can be two different things. They're not mutually exclusive. But I think the key to continued existence on this plane of reality, given all the distressing factors that we can't even verbalize in many cases, is honing your ability to blend and balance internal versus external, as well as handling weird, unusual stress that comes up that's hard to point to any common denominators. It's just an inevitability that we're going to be presented some unfavorable outcomes sometimes, and that we're going to be subjected to things that are going to test us and really test our patience and wits more than anything. So it's those situations that arise where you have to actually know the big picture and see that, yeah, this is just part of the plan. You know, it's never going to be not a convoluted thing. To be truthful, real, and to be present in the moment, and to actually see things clearly for what they are, especially in a big picture way. No, most people don't think in that big picture way because it's so corralled and contained and urged that we not. You know, it's a surface level simulation for most people, but for me, I endure a surface level simulation, but that's not really what life is, and that's not what it's about. Accepting that many things that are out of our control are taxing and limiting will serve to benefit us and keep us grounded, because having unrealistic expectations of the world is encouraged. That way we're presented with a false hope and we never are satisfied or fulfilled. So it's not to say you should shoot low, but you should shoot reasonably. And to be honest, what drives people out of this matrix typically is a high degree of loss as well as hardships, and those types of things happening to people who are informed creates an outcome where you can maybe have an alternative situation. You know, you have more options open. But when this type of thing happens to people who are clued out, clueless, and are more susceptible to manipulation, and they just lack understanding, it can be a life-shattering thing rather than just maybe a life-altering thing. You know, so keep in mind that if you're informed and you're intelligent and you still feel the burn, and that's part of the deal, you're at least aware and you're more present whenever things do arise. You know how to be a peacemaker or a light worker in that situation. Even if we can't do anything about a shoe dropping, then thinking a lot about things and factoring in things into the equation is still going to make a more well-rounded outcome. Because the way many of our lives are engineered in this new reality is to be a predetermined outcome that we have no control over and that we're the victim of. So it always pays just to look at every angle and to accept that you may not be manifesting destiny, but perhaps you are still creating a better outcome than what could be. We have to live our lives knowing that there are static people trying to create static terms for us. But what we're actually living, like I've said probably before, is actually a simulation of life that has barriers that are predetermined, that eventually we will break through to live an actual life. It's just not going to be what we planned for, and you're going to have creativity, intelligence, and resilience to really make the very, very best of it. Because in the external sense, the world is getting dismal, but I think more people are becoming enlightened and awoken to the true nature of this reality, that it is a test, and that there is fulfillment if you can manage to still have a childlike sense of wonder sometimes. But you know, we will be more fulfilled regardless, depending on how we think and our mindset on life, period, and they will not. You know, hence the interference, the lack of observation, all of the existential weirdness to boot, and just the acceptance that this is inevitable, that we're going to suffer on this plane of reality, and it's not going to be the life we thought it was. The sooner we can wrap our heads around that, the sooner we can make the best of a bad situation. Peace.